yet again to another episode of Women in Business. It's always a delight to have you. This is Doreen Kemcha. We are on Smart 24 TV. Now, we have been talking about the different amazing stories of women. We've also talked about linkages to resources. We've also talked about mentorship. Those are key foundations, literally, of this particular show, Women in Business. Now, as we get towards Independence Day, October, we are wondering, is women empowerment really superficial? Is it actually realistically there? Is it helping the woman, the grassroots woman up in the north, in the east, in the west, and even within the urban centers? Are they actually benefiting from this? And to help us give insight onto this, we have an amazing lady, social worker. She's also a development activist who really does quite a lot of work within the Parliament of Uganda under the research department. We're going to welcome Josephine Watera. Josephine, welcome.
Thank you so much, Doreen.
I have hunted for you for quite a while, you know that.
I'm now here. The hunt is over.
I know. And we being social workers, we're very keen on these things.
Yes.
The holistic perspective of women empowerment.
Yes.
How are women doing it? You are very keen on research. You've been doing this for quite a while.
True.
Evidence-based. We want to look at the evidence-based perspective into women empowerment currently in Uganda. Josephine, what is your research showing you about women empowerment? Is it working?
We've come a long way. First, we have to appreciate that the foundations have not been favoring us as women. We've come from societies that require our socialization to, first of all, be quiet. Traditionally, be quiet, sit on a mat while others are sitting on the chair.
Yes.
Our young ones, when they're studying, when they say draw your mother, they draw the mother cooking, the father is driving, reading a newspaper, the mother will be bathing a child. So ideally from our orientation, it's not been a fair ground.
Yes.
But we've come a long way today. We can say that we're in a better place, I would say. The women, both from the rural and the urban area, there's something small that we can take home about. Of course, not everything is there, but when you look at this special aspect of voice, as a social worker, I believe that we can't make a difference when we can't talk where it matters.
Where we're silent.
Yes. So when I look at the platforms for voice that have been created for the women, all the way from our grassroots level, from the chairperson, the vice chair of even LC1, all these are supposed to be taking care of issues that relate to women up to LC5. And then we have the specific positions of women representatives. For me, that's a platform for voice. And it gives us an opportunity to raise the profile for the women, both at community level all the way to the top. We've had this privilege when you look at like the 10th Parliament. We had an opportunity where we had the female clerk, a female speaker, a female leader of the opposition. So when you look at the upper part, we look like we are doing well. The pyramid up there looks like we are doing well.
Yes.
The numbers for members of Parliament have kept increasing. We are now about 160, 100 and approaching 80. When you look at this, a big percent, even in the region. I think we are the second to Rwanda. Because Rwanda is around 50%.
I heard it was 64.
Yeah, actually it has gone now beyond.
Yes.
It's gone beyond. It's been on 50% for many years. This time they've gone beyond. Uganda, we have been at around 35. So it looks like we are actually picking in terms of the political space and the numbers. But we still have issues on converting these numbers into tangible changes. And where is now that missing gap as we speak now? So I look at, even when our ladies, when they have made it all the way to Parliament, and the communities where they are coming from, there's still a detachment where communities feel like, you know, that's a member of Parliament. She's just that side. And so we need to have...
Is it because they don't really get down to the masses, per se? I would think, personally, for me, as Doreen, if... I always have this other mindset that your problem is my problem.
Yes.
Right? You are a woman, I am a woman, but we are so similar. Maybe different environments, but we are one.
Yes.
We are similar. Now, even with this representation, and yes, you're a member of parliament, why is it that and I speak this loosely, really. It's not really representative of all women MPs. It is just that sometimes you will get to see them and they come down and they talk to you and then they pass on these good ideas, but they seem detached from the actual problems that you are going through. They tell you, yes, we are going to come and we talk about this problem, we are going to ask from your perspective, but when it comes down to the delivery, yes, on the floor of parliament, they are not as you know, as militant. Would want them to be more militant.
More militant.
Yes, because we are sending you there, and you know what the passionate woman in the village can be. We are sending you there. They will, give all the ululations. We're sending you there. You are our champion. Go and speak for us. So, where is the militancy? Is the militancy maybe in paper format and not necessarily being verbose? Because that's also another thing. Yes, you can fight. Some will say, I will fight with speech, and not necessarily with the agitation of the sword. So how is it working?
I feel like the women have really tried to put their foot forward. When you look at the opportunities within Parliament, we have the Uganda Women Parliamentarians Forum, WOPA, and it's an association that draws, the interest of women. And many times when there are things on the floor, because Parliament is driven more with aspects of consensus building and winning people over your side, because it's about voting.
Yes.
So this association provides that platform for women to be able to work behind the scenes. And I have seen there's a time when there are two taxes, I would say, that the women strongly stood down and it could not pass.
Yes. Which taxes are those?
Actually, these are now three. We've had one on sanitary towels, we've had one on diapers for the children, and then we've had one on paraffin.
Okay.
Why paraffin? The women brought their voices through their representatives, that a man most times will come home when they have even slept. So it's the woman down there who needs the paraffin in their turnover to be able to keep lighting and support the family
as they eat,
as they do something. But a man, most likely, they will never know the effect of a price increase on paraffin, because they're not as frequent, and they sometimes actually not available at that time when the children are awake. So the women felt like this is going to affect a woman more, because when then they give their money for the kameza, it means that then you're going to spend 600 where you should have spent 500, because there's a tax that has been put on paraffin. And the women stood their ground on this, and it could not pass. And
I'm even thinking to myself, you're even talking about the possibility of kameza money. But when we come down to the person who uses the turnover, we know, me and you, yes, and all the others watching, that in reality, even that kameza money is not there. It is not.
Yes. So it means that somebody has to sell more of their groundnuts, These are farmers, then they have to sell more of what they should have maybe put into something else, so that they fill in that gap for that small addition that is coming because of taxation. And I saw women strongly standing for this, and
that's a success story.
Yeah, and drawing the male MPs on their side to support this, and this did not pass.
Yes.
So I will still say that there are aspects for wins that we can record. There are aspects where we have lost. Also, we take note of that. For example, the issues of inheritance have still not come through as strongly for the women.
Yes.
It is still, of course, the law allows that both parties can inherit, but it is still more advantageous and more favoring to the male than to the female. Even in a few cases where the female gets mentioned, you've seen the case of like the late Right Honorable Yusuf Nsibambi, RIP.
Yes.
Mulwana,
Yes, they made it
Muchiri,
intentional.
these made it intentional
And
from the
very
beginning.
clear.
But it was a lot of opposition. There were a lot of fights
Yeah.
behind the scenes with these families that how do you give this to a woman? So it means that there's a lot that needs to be done in terms of sensitization to know that the wealth entrusted in a woman can still sustain a generation. It's not about who is holding, but how they are holding. So sometimes we have families with very smart daughters, but they feel like, let's just go to a dull boy because this is a girl. So those mindset issues, we need to have a shift so that society can appreciate that this, you know, that has been put in women, having them access education, let it now be used on the other side, that they can make a difference in terms of economics in their families and society generally.
You mentioned that, and I thought about the role of the media, you know?
Yes.
During moments like this, sometimes they want to sell as many copies or get viewership or something like that, and then you hear, you just get to see this bold headline, Yabi Gabi Demuwala.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
Yabi Gabi Demuwala. So, but at the end of the day, you may be thinking about the financial returns of having so many, you know, viewers or all these different copies sold. But you are not actually looking at the attitudes that you are portraying with just one headline.
Yes.
And yet we all know for sustainable gender equality, it must be streamlined across. Do you think it is so? Do you think there's a problem in the way it is streamlined? Yes, these efforts of gender equality, because you find some doing their own things, it has not trickled down to the other side. You know, what is happening? Parliament is doing very well with the policies.
I think our issue is on implementation.
Yes.
So when you look at policy in the region, we are really ahead.
Yeah.
A lot of people admire to come and study Uganda.
They speak good things only.
We speak, actually we write very well.
Yes.
We speak very well. Then we don't implement very well. So I think that's where our gap is. And what causes those challenges of implementation? One, like I've said, issues of mindset, that sometimes even when you're in the community and you want people to speak, we've seen barazas that are being held under the office of the Prime Minister, the women will not talk. Because sometimes, you know, you've put them in the rooms with men.
Yes.
So really, if you want to hear from the women, then we need to take specific actions and be purposive. Be very targeted and say, let's have sessions that are targeting women only so that they don't have that intimidation of the other gender. Let's first give a fair ground for them to be able to involve themselves and make their voice be heard.
Yes.
So those issues of mind shift change. And then we've had issues of ownership of the core resource, which is land. So if you're still having men as core owners of land, the land is where, especially for the rural woman, where they're tilling and being able to get a resource, a livelihood out of it. And then you have to seek permission from the man. Like now, if this man, we're talking about women in business. So the woman needs to get a loan, for example. Then you have to get permission from the husband to get this money. And most likely when that money comes, then the husband will say, now bringing it here now that it has come. Then they divert the resource from where it should have been going into something else. That's when the guy says, I think we need to buy a boda.
Yes.
No, I think we need to buy a bicycle. It was not originally in the plan.
And it becomes a fight.
And then it becomes a fight. You're in a marriage, you have children. Then the women say, okay, on this one, let it go. So before you know it, they have a big loan that they have to pay back. They didn't get orientation on how they should safeguard. First of all, they have struggled to access this money. The money has come, it has not been put in the right channel, and then now they have to struggle to pay this money back. And at the end of the day, it has not made a difference. So we need to see how to support women to own, especially the core resource, which is land.
Now, when it comes down to that, I'm very keen on male engagement.
Yes.
Why? Because we know that, one, women do not exist in isolation.
Sure.
At the end of the day, you may cocoon them, you know, bring them together, and whisper all this encouragement and tell them, yes, you can do it.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, they're going to have to go back into their communities, they're going to have to go back into their families, and that is where sometimes the voices even
die.
Yes, they die away. And you mentioned something about, you know what, in most cases when there are in the community meetings, or they're in their circles, or they are vehement and they're talking, they are passionate. But when they go back to the reality, yes, they are quiet. They are quiet. We've had so many women come up and tell, the women that we have spoken to, at the end of the day, the families, the societies that they stay in will tell them, decide. Is it your marriage or
your
yes.
business? Okay.
And most of them start off their conversation for the sake of my marriage. And this, Josephine, this cuts across, so it is so similar. That is why I say, whether you are in the village right now, in Koboko, whether I am down here in Wandegea, a lot of things happen along those lines of, for the sake of my marriage. Yes?
True.
So when we look at women empowerment, how do we navigate all this for the sake of my marriage? One, because I also heard, and this is why I put to you, I also heard that, read somewhere with the different approaches in male engagement. And just like you were saying, some of those monies are diverted, being given by the banking institutions. So one of them, coming up looking for solutions was more or less, let our approach be negotiation. Let us negotiate. Yes, this motorbike, instead of buying it. Yes. Yes, can I buy you off by giving you 100,000 of that money? Can we share the proceeds 30 to 70?
The voice of a man is not sometimes that negotiable, especially when you're talking about the grassroots rural women.
Yes.
Sometimes when they speak, they have spoken. We start from that, then the rest comes. It's not like,
my voice is final.
Am I seeking your opinion? No. We start from that, and then the rest follows. So, but it's good that we should be intentional on male involvement. I totally agree with you. I come from a background where I feel like I should have met my grandfather on my maternal side. This gentleman did not take my mother and her sisters to school. But I have very smart, my mother is very good even in mathematics. And her sisters, very well grounded, even when they did not study. So he took the sons instead to study. But what did he do? He left all of them with land. He left all of them with an opportunity for voice. There are things which cannot happen in that family until my mother, my aunties are actually there. Like, it is something which he left it like grounded there.
Yes.
So I find my mother, who is not educated, very powerful in a way in her community.
Because her voice is heard.
And it is because she was empowered by her father, not even by being taken to school, but allowing them to contribute to discussions, debates. She, especially my aunties, they can speak their mind in a way that you are like, wow, even without going to school yet, by then. But they had a resource that has made them to be strong, powerful women up to today. But
you see, even that's why you saw as I couldn't even contain myself, because this is the same, right? Even just, we're talking about now the families. Yes, your family and my family, wealthy families, really. And still the same happened. One girl out of my, the entire, my father's family. One girl, but still she had to drop out. Intentionally. I think it was a norm during that time because women got married a little bit earlier. But whereas you were talking about that voice that came from, resource allocation, yes, the ability to inherit and know that I am also a key player of this house. Well, that, especially in the West where I come from, that was not common, and that did not happen in regards to my auntie's story. But this just like Kabale, where I come from, yes, you have to fight for literally, because we are normally assertive and very vocal. You have to fight. Yes, you have to fight for your space. So I think her ability to stand up, even as I believe she was on the local council. Yes, she very respected. Did not go to school. Did something on skilling on her own, but still would be able to be respected within her community, and she was also part of the local council. So whereas from my side, she had to fight for that right, but still with yours, At least there was a little bit of uniqueness because she was.
So that's why I think that let's also start from families.
Yes.
Let families build. I'm one of those parents, when I go to school, I find there's school debate. I'm a mother of 5 girls. So every time I walk to school and they tell me, Mommy, we have this activity that is happening, I ask them, I don't just want to be a spectator.
Yeah.
Can I know that you are also participating?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
I'm trying to build their voice when they're still young.
Yeah.
But if we let it pass, then they land in workplaces that cannot allow them to talk.
Yeah.
They may land into bosses who feel like, I'm the boss.
Yes.
Can you keep quiet? They will land in marriages which will not allow them to speak. So if we can at least enable them now, even when they are choosing their spouses, they can do that, quick assessment in early enough, and they say, I think this person, if he can shut me down now when we are still dating.
What about we shall call for the intervention of the Holy Spirit? What about that? We shall work on it. He will change.
So at least you empower them now so that they can get to know that if this person can accommodate you now, then maybe they can accommodate you for a forever program of marriage. But if they can't accommodate you now, then most likely they're not going to build you up. So I really encourage, especially when I talk to young girls, to not just look at, does this man have a wallet now? Yeah. Wallets can be built. They can be expanded. But does this man empower you now to be that kind of a woman you're supposed to be? I keep telling you about the Proverbs 31 woman,
That burden.
That one. So can this person empower and enable you to contribute to make, your voice heard, to feel loved, cared, and flourish, even when you are not yet married, before now we cross into marriage? One of the things that I have found very helpful, that has really personal, now this is a personal story that has taken me to where I am today, is the kind of husband that I have. He's one who will push me and ask, what more do you need? Like every time we start the year, the question will be like, okay, so you studied this and did this and did this. What more do you think you need to get you to the next level? He's always wanting to know, what more am I doing with my life? Yes. And he will put for me a carpet and enable me work on it. Yeah. I've studied, I have 3 master's degree, and I've been having this, studying while having babies. Yes. So I will be going to the universities, and he will come, drive me, wait for me there. I will be attending class. He will be maybe catching up with maybe a story in the newspaper, maybe catching up with balancing. We have a farm, balancing things in the farm, but, stationed somewhere waiting for me to come, and then he will take me home. When I get sometimes home and I'm so overwhelmed, they will say, Mommy has this meeting tomorrow morning, let her rest, allow women to flourish, give them the support. Because when you look at the amount of time we invest in work, a woman is not, we all have 8 hours. Most likely your brain arrives in office when 4 of the hours are already on the children. Yes. This person will left home when they're unwell. There's this maid who said she's not going to be able to work up to next week. So you are thinking about these things. What should we cook today? What should we? Of course, these are home things which you must think about. Yes. But it's not the same with the man. Most times when they've arrived in the office, they have arrived, and their 8 hours is 100% their 8 hours. Yes. So as women, we need to know, first of all, build networks with ourselves. Get to know, what does the other woman have that they can offer me? Don't die alone. So within Parliament, for example, of Uganda, we have the Women Forum, the Staff Forum. So many times we discuss things that relate to women. When there's an issue that relates to one woman, who will run even with resources to make contributions from our own pocket to support a woman. We buy from each other. And I also come from a neighborhood in Mukono. It's called Namwezi Community, where we have also defined our neighborhood, and we have a strong WhatsApp group. I'm the president, apparently. So we have even ministers. Congrats. So in this WhatsApp group, we talk issues of community development beyond security. And we also have the Women League to it, like an arm for women. So we have a circle that is registered, and we come together as women, make a contribution of 5,000 every month, and we keep this rotating. And we reach out, even sometimes when somebody has not really made a contribution, but when they have an issue and we sit down and see that this person has an issue that needs intervention, we run and support this woman. So let's try to look for building networks
All
and
those
social
networks.
support system around us. Sometimes women, we get so bogged down and overwhelmed with things,
Yeah.
and we say, you know, it will be okay, it will be okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to speak to somebody.
Yes.
So when we get overwhelmed, let's not say we are superstars, we can handle this. Sometimes it's just good to look out for that one person that you can talk to. It can make a difference.
Networking,
Yes.
an amazing, amazing platform.
Yes.
We're going to talk. Someone mentioned something about the openness and the honesty. Yes, or dishonesty
Yes.
among some of these networks. But we're going to take a very quick break, and then we'll be right back and talk about this. Let's take a short break.
Thank you.